Hello. Okay, so what we're gonna do today, right? Now, mainly I want to talk about a few things. How do you use the notes, and also I want to talk a little bit about the essay part because for an essay, right, a lot of people got this problem. Like your coming exam, you're going to have essay, but then a lot of people not too sure. So let me share with you this. Okay. Okay, this one. All right. For those who have the notes, I think this is what you have. Okay, the notes you have should be something like this. Right now. So of course you will notice the starting point of the notes will look a bit like this. All right. So now your coming exam midterm right? Chapter 1, chapter 2, right? And then after that got chapter 3 as well. Now that will depend. Some school don't have chapter 3, some school got chapter 3, some of school only a bit. To be honest, mainly your midterm exam, the question will be coming from chapter 2 anyway. Okay. Yes, chapter 3 is kind of short though. There's only 3 subtopics. If you say like, oh, my exam got chapter 3, well, chapter 3 is only 3 subtopics. So you if you go by ratio, you can tell right? Now, so what I give you here, I prepared for you it's the beginning part of your chapter 2. All right. All these things that is what you learned before and you kind of forgotten. So what I did is I give you like a more detailed version of the notes to let you go through this again. Now, I make it very easy for you to go through so that, when you read through this yourself, you can also kind of understand and recap, right? Now, of course, we're not going to go through every single details. So I let you know what is the thing that you're supposed to do with this. How do you use the notes and everything? So what you have here, right? Number one, in front here is all the, short notes and everything. Okay. Like, for example, the topic linear motions. What are you supposed to do with your ticker tape? And then after that, you also have like the linear motions, equation kind of thing. Then after that, of course, motion graph. Motion graph, I make details here so that it can easier to see, right? How do you describe graphs, right? And then what's the difference between displacement and velocity graph? To calculate them is one thing, and then next thing, of course, we have the momentum and everything. Well, if you think about chapter 2, of course, there are more than that, right? You also have like the force behind and everything, right? Now, all these, see, details, how to explain stuff and everything. Then after that, you have these exam type questions here, right? So I understand that a lot of people, chapter 2 is not too good, especially for the front part, because you're starting chapter only, you're starting form 4 only, so you are kind of blur. So this is why, right, I prepare some of the questions here. Now, these are your exam style questions, okay? Again, I prepare more than enough for you, so definitely, right, we will not discuss every single questions. So the leftover questions, it's meant for you to practice on yourself, and the answer, okay, simple. For the answer wise, right, you just need to download it from the place where you get your PDF. I'll upload soon, okay? So the answers is all there, okay? So what you have here, see, questions regarding motion graphs and everything. Well, what I want to majority talk about today is actually something like this. Now, this is what we consider essay. But then the thing about essay is how to answer them is one thing. There's certain format you must follow on. So you get these formats here, okay? You get essay style. And then now, whenever you notice, they give you a table like that. Ask you to choose one. These are what we consider as essay, okay? But before I start, right, perhaps I show you something, okay? Let me ask you a questions. How many subtopic you have for chapter 2? Do you know how many subtopic you have for chapter 2? How many? 14 where got so much? Hello. 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. Altogether, how many? Let me show you something. Okay. So, a very general, general versions. Let me show you this. Okay, can you see my screen? Now, no need copy. Okay. No need copy. You just take a screenshot if you want to lah. Okay. So what you have here, it's actually a very simple, short, summarized version lah. Remind you a bit and this and that about your chapter 2. Now, chapter 2, force and motions, together you got 8 subtopics, right? Well, if you think about it, right, the front part of the chapter 2, it's about motions. You think about 2.1, 2.2 lah, all the linear motions ticker tape then motion graph then you have momentum right? After that, later on you have force. So now you will learn motion first for one simple reason, because you know why they're together or not? Why the topic together is force and motion? Because force causes motions, right? When you want to move something, you apply force. You pushed it, you pulled it. So this is why, right? You see, when you learn to how first thing you learn how to calculate force, right? Motions. Then later on you learn how to calculate the force part, right? So regarding motions, what you have now, linear motions. This is what we know as the linear motion equations. Normally, I call this as the Suva equations. As you can see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 formulas. Every formula got something missing on. That's why you have to choose, right? How do you choose it? Based on whatever is missing out. Okay, if the question ever provide you displacement, then you use the third formula. If the question ever provide time taken information, then use the fourth one. Then later on, right, you also have ticker tape. So regarding ticker tape, what you have? 3 different types. Let me tell you what. For ticker tape, right, you can do 3 of this, then you are good to go already one. Because, right, the idea is like this. There'll be 1, there'll be 2, there'll be 3 different types of ticker tape questions. One tape, they ask you to calculate velocity. Then one tape, they ask for accelerations. And finally, they give you many tapes. We normally call them as ticker tape chart. Okay, we normally call them as ticker tape chart. So all together here, right, 3 different types of questions. Detailed versions, the notes I give it to you already, right? Later on, we got motion graph. Motion graph, right, there's 3 things you also need to know, is that you need to know how to describe the graph, how to calculate the graph, and also sketch. Now, motion graph, right, graph so to be honest, there's not much of formulas or whatsoever one. Motion graph, you only calculate 2 things. So every time regarding motion graph, right, tell yourself, right, what am I supposed to calculate? Should I calculate the gradient of the graph or the area of the graph? That's it. Okay, so motion graph wise, either gradient, either area, that's it. Then on the other side, one more is momentum. See, momentum, to be honest, is it gonna be calculating just the basic momentum? Normally don't because momentum very easy one. You take mass, multiply velocity, that's it, and I'm sorry already. But then, right, under momentum, we go further, right, you have something called the elastic collisions, inelastic collision, and explosion. Those are where, you know, the harder part comes in. So you get a formula here, formula here, formula here. And among 3 different kind of momentum, right, explosion is the hardest. I mean, not hardest. I would say they ask you most frequently. So under this explosion thing, then you go on, you will see these applications. You know, again, details in the notes are provided to you, right? How to calculate, sorry, how do you explain for rocket launching, how do you explain for jet engine, that kind of thing. All right, so the detail wise, you can have a look at this one here afterwards. Then after that, also, you want a more complete version explanations, right? Go and check the notes I provided. Next thing, you have the other side here, which is the Newton's law of motion, because after motion, it's force. So when we say force, right, first thing we think about is what? Newton, because why? Number 1, unit for force is Newton. So Newton law, altogether, you got 3 different law here. First law, second law, third law. Okay, so first law is whenever there's no external force, what happened? Then you do this, right? About inertia, object moving, they will continue moving, object at rest, they will stay at rest, that kind of thing. Now moving on, second law, you got this formula here, F equals ma. Yep. So among 3 law, which one most important? Definitely second law, because your title is called force and motions. Second law is to teach you how to calculate force. You see that? So this is why, right, under this F equals ma, all right, from here you derive a bit more, you get the impulsive force formula. Now, you're not exactly deriving it, you just open up your formulas. Like A for accelerations, right? You open up your A, then you get this one already. See the whole idea? So impulsive force, impulse. On the other side, you got this one here, the weight. Weight is the last part of your chapter, gravitational force. Again, you see, the gravitational force is also force, right? So what we do, now, we are also using the formula F equals ma. Yep, just that you replace the F become W, because weight is W, gravitational force. Mass, the same. A will become G. Why? Since we say gravitational force, it's weight. Weight is gravitational force. So since this is gravitational force, then what happens to your accelerations? It will also become gravitational accelerations. Remember the letter G, right? Value for G basically would be your standard concept. Chapter 2, value for G is the same one. This one here, always we do 9.81. So this one is a very short summarized version of what you're supposed to go through about these force and motions. Now, I give you this for one reason. Of course, I'm not going to go through one by one. Okay, no, simply we don't have time. And today's focus is to learn how to do the essay, right? So for this one, right, look at this. Go through this yourself, and then you go and think about it yourself. Which part, right, when you look at it, you totally no idea one. That is when you know, oh, this part I don't remember. This part I weak at it. Go through more, study more about that. But this is a summarized version for you to see. Okay? Now, no, I'm not going to wait for the copy one. Just screenshots. Because copy going to take too long time already. Right? Now, you take a screenshot. Later, you can have all your time to write down, to do whatever thing. Okay? I give you another 10 more seconds, 5 more seconds. Screenshots. Okay? Are you done? Okay, now back to what we're supposed to go through today. Now, next thing I want to mention is what? Have you heard about essay about physics paper? Your teacher did your teacher mention about essay to you before or not? Yes, no, yes. No, yes, no. Okay, here's the thing. Let me tell you what. I give you the actual format for essay. Okay, because right, some of your teacher will tell you, oh, we are not doing full paper, we are not having like all essays, right? Now you learn one time, then this thing apply to the rest of your exams, your finals, your form 4, your form 5, your SPM, same one. Okay, now actual format is like this. You know how many paper you have, right? For physics paper, SPM, we got 3. Okay, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3. Paper 1 is objective, all objective, ABC, choose only. Paper 2, it will be structural questions. Now, essay will show up in paper 2. Then paper 3, it's called Amali. Basically means experiment. You practice, you literally have to carry out experiment, and then you collect results, you draw table, you draw graph, that kind of thing. Now, for midterm, normally paper 3 don't have one, because just starting like literally this is your coming first exam already. So usually midterm there's no paper 3. The faster you get for paper 3 for this Amali thing, right, it will be your finals. Yep, but don't worry about this experiment thing, because why? Among 3 paper, paper 3 is the least. Why? Now paper 1 is 40 marks, 40. Paper 2 is 100. Paper 3 is 15. Yes, if you sum them up together, you know this one. Your physics paper is never 100. They will go over 100 one. So what you do? You get a total marks, you divide by 155, 155. Then you multiply back to 100%. Yes. Now, so where do I get essay? Essay, you get it from your section, your paper 2. Well, under paper 2, I mean, you listen to what I said, right? You probably notice, right? Paper 2 is extra long, 100 marks there. So how they do? Now, under paper 2, there will be 3 different sections here. Section A, Section B, Section C. Okay, under paper 2 Section A, Section B, Section C. So Section A, what you have, right, it will be structural questions. The typical one, they ask you to explain, calculate, definitions, theory, that kind of thing. So here, you normally get about 60 marks. About 8 questions, 1 to 8. Sum up together about 60 marks. Section B, 20. Section C, 20. So essay, where is it? It's over here. Section B and C. Yes. And you notice they separate them, right? The reason very simple. Because Section B and Section C, your essay style is different. Okay? So for SPM format, it's going to be like this. Question 1 to 8, it will be a Section A. Question 9, question 10, Section B. And then question C is question 11. Okay, Section C is question 11. So altogether here, you got 11 questions, right? You just need to do 10 questions. Why? Notice I put a slash here, right? Because 9 and 10 can choose one. You cannot do 9, do 10, no? Cannot do 10, then do 9. Now, of course, that one is SPM format. For Form 4 midterm, most likely not going to be like this, right? Number one, definitely, I don't think you get to choose. Maybe your teacher tell you, oh, we are doing full paper, that it will be section B, section C. But I think most likely what happened is you will just get one question here, okay, question 9, and then this one, question 10. Both you have to do. Because you think about it, your exam for this time, chapter 1, chapter 2, at best, chapter 3, so little chapter. If they still let you choose, right, you sure know what will come out on. Yes, exactly. So normally when we got more chapters, why choosing? Of course, not I mean, to be honest, not like you can study every chapter. That's why they give you a bit of allowance. You forgot about chapter 4, you can do chapter 5, essay, that kind of thing. But for the coming exam, I think more likely you will just have one each. Now, section B and C must do one question each. And the format will be different one. Getting the point, right? So how do we go through this? Look, for section B, okay, for section B and section C, the difference is what? You see, the essay, okay, about section B, we normally call this as the decide essay. I mean, normally for me, I call this I like to call this as a decide essay. For section C, right, I would like to call this as the design essay. Of course, you ask, what's the difference, right? Now, section B, right, you will get a table. They will give you a table and then give you a situation. Say, oh, I got this problem. Choose one. Okay, choose a most suitable one. Choose the best design. So decide. You just have to, based on whatever provided, you choose. And to be honest, it's actually easier. Okay, and also remember I said the section B is 20 marks, section C 20. Not like one question 20 lah. If you look at this, if one question 20 is going to be a lot, right? Well, the 20 marks, they'll break down into like 10. So the front 10 marks, you get all the short questions, all the small questions. Then the back 10 marks, you get to decide. Okay, later I show you. Now, same thing here. The 20 marks will break down. So the actual essay that you actually have to do, right? For decide, okay, it will worth 10 marks. And then for design, also 10. Now, how do you get the 10? Okay, for decide, right, it's going to be 8 plus 2. That's why 10. But then for design, right, it will be 5 times 2. That's why 10. I'll explain later. You let me go through first. Okay, so over here, you follow first 10, and this one also 10. See the point? But of course, how come the marks so different one? Why is it 8 plus 2? Why is it 5 times 2? This is why, right? I need to explain to you how do you go through this thing. All right. So, section B, your essay questions will look a bit like this. Okay, for section B, the decide one. Decide essay, right? They will look a bit like this. For example, now, what you have, right? You see, they will give you a table or some kind of table like that. Okay, over here, you see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different things, right? Then they will ask you to choose what's the most suitable bicycle to be chosen. Right, another example, okay? Here, you will see a table here where you get like wheelchair, P, Q, R, S. Then you see how many expect every time. You will notice one thing is every time, right, there will be 4 columns one because you have to choose from this, and this. Now, think about this. 4 columns. Every column you have to answer, right? So how many marks do you think you get for every time you answer one column here? Let's say the diameter of tire, you choose 1. Now, choosing correctly give you 1 mark, and definitely you have to explain yourself, right? So that's why, right, here got 2, here got 2, here got 2, here got 2. How many marks? 8, right? So this is why, right, 8 mark, and then finally you give your conclusion, which one is the best you choose from. Getting what I mean, right? We go through more. Now, then one more here, another type of essay style. This one also decide. Whenever you notice, they provide you a table one. Okay, and then always 1, 2, 3, 4 columns one. That will be a decide essay. Decide essay. Well, when we go to the other side here, you will get this one here. Now, look at this diagram. They say based on this petrol tanker truck, you need to suggest safety design. And do you see any table provided? No, this is not. Okay, let me tell you what. This one I draw for you only. In the exam, we don't have one. Okay, please don't imagine, right, you get this. Okay, no, you don't, because the thing is, wait, let me. I just want you to waste your time, drawing table there. So this one, supposedly what you get, a full scale paper. That's it. I'm sorry. Okay. But do you see any table like what you have before? This will be your section C, your design questions. Well, some of you will say, hey, but my teacher say there's only one essay. Then normally it will come out section B, the decide essay more often, because first time exam, they want to, not go too harsh on you. Then usually you get the table one. If you don't get table, this will belong to section C, the design essay. Yep, both is important. Okay, now anyway, let me show you the questions. You see, you don't just get this like that 10 marks but you notice, right, in front you also get a bit of small questions one, like front part here they ask you a bit of definition and then theory a bit, calculation a bit, maybe theory. Now paper 2 is structural questions, everything you answer, there's no choosing, that one belongs to chapter 1. That one belongs to paper 1. Your objective question is paper 1. Okay, so in paper 2, all writings 1. Okay, so then you get like maybe 1 mark here, 1 mark, 2 marks here, 2 marks here, 2 marks here, 1 mark here, 1 mark here. So in front you get like, about 10 marks. And then this question itself, it will be 10. So for design one, right, there's no choosing from, right? So this is why the marking will be a bit different. Okay, I will go through both questions with you, don't worry. So this is why, right, now for section B, where do you choose? Where do you get these 8 marks? Basically, it's where you choose. Okay, it's why you choose every aspect. You tell them what's so good about this and that, and then finally, what about this one? The 2 marks here. This one, right? It will be your conclusion. Finally, you tell them, oh, the best is bicycle A, bicycle B, bicycle C, like that. All together, got 10. But then when it comes to design, there's no conclusion one, because you are designing this. Okay, you're not choosing from anything else. You're designing it. That's when, right, there's no conclusion. You say, hey, then am I supposed to write conclusion for this? No. Okay, you just write your point, your point, your point. But because 10 marks, you're supposed to write 5 points. This one, how to get an 8? Because it's 4 points only, times 2. See that? But this one here, it will be longer. Now, of course, people tend to find this harder one. Section C is definitely harder. That's why it's always the last question of your paper 2. Okay, design, yes, definitely harder. And yes, you have to go through. Let me tell you one thing. Regarding essay, right? Now, it's new concept to you. It's totally brand new thing, okay? You don't even do this in Form 3, right? So for this essay idea is what? First thing, clear up about your essay format. Understand how to answer both types of questions. Then, right, for essay, try to read through more essay. Okay, to be honest, the best way to study for essay is what? Go do essay. Read through essay. Because why? Now, when you go through, you will notice one. A lot of essay questions, you don't get to study directly from textbook. You might get similar topic, but a lot of times, right, some of them are common general knowledge. Some of them like uses your science concept a bit, but you will not get answer directly. Meaning you're not gonna see a question teaching you how to do essay for truck, for petrol tanker, right? So what you want to do is learn your knowledge, apply into the questions, and the more you read, the better you're at this. Getting what I mean, right? Now, I show you. Okay, come. Wait, let me show you this one here. You look at page number 4. Page number 4. Meanwhile, we go through whole questions. Okay, essay is back part only. Okay. Meanwhile, what happened here? You can see this is what we have on the exam type questions. Ready? Okay. All right. And then you all complain, your motion graph very lousy, right? I go through a motion graph for you lah. Diagram 1.1 shows a cyclist moving forward on a straight horizontal road. Okay. The variations of velocity of the bicycle with time is shown in the diagram 1.2. Now, motion graph questions, you got 3 types of motion graph, to be honest. 3 different types. Displacement graph, velocity graph, acceleration graph. Among all 3, velocity is the most famous one because they have a lot more things to ask, right? But then normally in exam, you expect them to come out displacement or velocity. Is it possible to come out accelerations? Yes, but accelerations, right, the question is quite limited. Nothing much to ask, so they don't like asking for acceleration, that kind of point, right? But I go through. Now, so first of all, whenever you get motion graph, right, first thing what you do, look at the y-axis first. You must identify exactly what kind of graph are you getting. What kind of graph are you getting? For example, here, you see, or this velocity thing. Okay, you see, first thing first, right? The velocity thing. So this is what you're supposed to go through. Okay, look at the y-axis first, because now when you get a displacement graph and when you get an acceleration graph, when you get a velocity graph, they are different one, and people tend to confuse a lot, right? You like to mix up the displacement and velocity. Now listen to this. If it's a displacement graph, ST graph, they are showing you location, like where are you at every moment, right? So that's why if you get a ST graph, something like this, okay, how do you tell directions? First of all, how do we tell directions? You look at this thing here. Okay, how do you tell directions? Simple. Whenever you see the graph going upwards, doesn't matter what shape, go as long as they're going upwards, that means you're moving forward. Whenever you see a graph going downwards, that means you're moving backwards. Okay, displacement very straightforward. And then one thing, I teach you a simple trick lah. When we talk about graph, doesn't matter what graph. Okay, listen to this. Whenever we talk about graph, okay, whenever you have a graph doing this, okay, now I don't put any title because the thing is whatever graph applies this concept here. Whenever the graph move up like that, okay, when you see the graph going up this way, now listen, number one, whenever you see graph going up, it means that y value increases. Okay, our graph go up means this. Then only what you do, you only look at this one here, what is written on it. For example, here, you see, what you have here, it's a displacement graph, right or not? Okay, so if I get a displacement graph here, and then the graph go up means what? Equals to the y-axis increasing. So you look at your graph, the y-axis says S, right? So this means that your displacement increased. So this is why we conclude that when your graph go up, you are moving forward because your displacement getting more, go forward, because when you go backward, your displacement decreases. Seeing the idea? So the concept is to understand graph. How to understand graph? Number one, whenever you see a graph like this, up, the meaning behind means the y value increases. Then only you look at your y-axis. So if your graph says displacement, that means it equals to, that means your displacement increases. See that? Well, if I come to this, what if right now I also have the exact same thing? The graph do this. But again, what did I say? Whenever graph go up, what does it symbolize? The meaning behind is what? The y is increasing, yes? But then right now look at this graph. What is written on the y-axis now? Whatever written on the y-axis now, it has become velocity, right? So what does it mean by this graph going up? Y increases, it means velocity increases. See that? You look in now, if you compare two now, you can see the idea lah. Okay, well, your y-axis will pretty much decide the meaning of it. See that? If you get this one, it means you are moving forward because y is displacement. If you get this one, it means your y velocity increases. What does it mean by y? That's right. What does it mean by velocity increases? We have a word for that, right? What's that called? No, velocity increases. It means you speed up, right? What do you call speed up? What do you call getting faster? Yes, that's why it's different. See, displacement graph, y increase, moving forward. Velocity graph, y increase, getting faster. Accelerations. Getting the point? So this is the idea of it. Yeah. Then of course you ask, how do I show direction then? Now that's why you pay attention. Number one, for displacement, simple. The graph up is forward, down is backward. But then for velocity, right? How do you show directions? Now, questions. Physics, right? How do we show directions for velocity? How do you tell a car is it moving forward and backward? Or maybe how do I tell you that my car is moving back for velocity? Now you don't care about this. You just you think about it normally. Even when you're doing like linear motion, momentum, whatever thing. Yes, we do positive and negative, all right? And then of course when we reflect it to a graph, positive negative means what? It means depends on your x-axis. Anything above x-axis, you are positive. anything below x-axis, you are negative, right? So that means if your graph, now velocity, when your graph located on the positive side, all these, doesn't matter shape, this, or this, you are moving forward. Understand? If you get graph beneath here, if I draw graph like this, underneath, then here I will be moving back. So you can see the difference here, right? This is why I give you two of these diagrams, because you can compare this way together. Okay, how to tell directions for displacement, whether the graph up or down. How to tell directions for velocity, whether the graph positive or negative. Oh, by the way, when I say forward and backward, right, it's a general idea. Like, you have to understand now, not like everything go forward, not like everything go backwards, right? Yes, sometimes they go left and right, sometimes they go up and down. Most of the time, don't worry, the question will mention to you, so you don't have to worry about this. Okay, now then next thing, right? Now, if whenever they ask you to describe, let me tell you one thing. Remember this, always ask yourself 3 questions. What was the 3 questions? Number 1, ask the object, is it moving or not? Right? Second, where the object is moving. Third, how the object is moving. Yes, so your sample question, you can see I highlight nicely for you, right? Moving, then you say, the object is moving, and then directions forward with constant velocity. So when we say how, right, it's like pace. Yes, so moving or not, where are you going, and then the how. So this is, whenever you put them together, you notice, right, it's actually a format. Okay, question 1, question 2, question 3, you put them together, it becomes your answer. Understand? Right? Now moving on some more. Next, regarding this calculation, later I show you some more. Okay, later we put into the questions. Now, whenever we do calculations, no need memorize one. Okay, I give you this shortcut. This thing is called SVA shortcut. It's like an escalator where you go down and then go up one. Motion graph, 2 things only. We either calculate gradient, we either calculate area. Get it? Now, come. Let's say we look at these questions here. What do you have? First of all, what do you have? This is a velocity graph, right now. Okay, question number 1. How do I tell direction for velocity? How do I tell direction for velocity graph? We just only say, right, we positive and negative, correct. And then if you look at the question, they kind of mentioned to you, right, this one shows you a cyclist moving forward on a straight road. So now you know, right, your direction, yes, it will be forward and backward. Forward and backward. Now, questions. This part of the graph, where's the cyclist moving? Forward or backward? You see? You see? Same problem again, right? Same thing happen. Every time you see graph go down, you want to go backwards. That's why I repeat this one more time. Velocity, right? Positive, forward. You don't care what shape it is, as long as it's positive. Now, you answer this one simple question. This is the 0 axis, right? I mean your x-axis, right? Here, your graph located on positive or negative side. Positive side. Are you moving forward or backward? Forward. Where do you go backwards? Whenever you are below x-axis. Forward, backward. Get it? Okay, what does it mean by this going down? I say already, right? Whenever you see a graph going up or down, it means what? It means your y value increase or decrease. So what does this graph tells you when they do this? It means the y is getting lesser. And what do you call this y getting lesser? Look at the y-axis now. Yes. And what's this? Velocity lesser. Velocity decrease means what? Yes. Decelerations. Decelerating. And think about this. When you decelerate, can you go forward? When you're slowing down, can you go forward or not? I mean, why not, right? Definitely can, right? Think about your father driving. When he drives a car, he pressed the brake. The car reverse or not? No, right? They will keep moving what? Just that they slow down, but then they go forward. You understand now? That's why, right? For VT graph, listen to this. Always try to understand. To be honest, I tell you what, motion graph, you know what's the biggest problem or not? Everybody want to memorize it. You just say, I memorize the shape lah. If I see the graph go down like that, it must be decelerating. No, it won't work one, because why? Displacement velocity is different. Yes. So in fact, and instead, right, try to understand them.
Okay, try to understand them. Getting what I mean, right? Now move on some more. Okay. Question number 1, what is the meaning of velocity? Okay, you know lah, definitely in exam, should ask for this thing one. It's called definitions. Okay, I teach you a simple trick. Regarding chapter 2, right, you have a shortcut trick to remember definitions. For a few terms, of course, not like everything. Okay, now you just have to tell me one thing. What is the formula for velocity? Okay, you tell me what's the formula for velocity? V equals, now I want basic enough. V equals to S over T. Okay, good. No need the Suvat formula, just this one. Okay, now pay attention to this. Whenever you notice, right, the formula divide time one. Okay, whenever you see a formula, they divide time. Then I teach you what the definitions for velocity is this. It's the rate of change of displacement. Okay, velocity definitions, it will be the rate of change of displacement. Okay, I give you one more, then you can eventually find the similarities and how it works already. Okay, now first of all, one more. Can you tell me the formula for accelerations? Formula for accelerations: v minus u over t. Okay, and then now I tell you what the definition for acceleration is: the rate of change of velocity. Can you see what's happening now? Okay, in case you don't realize, whenever you notice the formula comes with a divide time. Okay, whenever you notice the formula divide time one, then the definition will be this actually. When we say divide time means what? It means the rate. Okay, rate of change. So the format is there lah. Whenever you notice the formula divide by time, that means it's the rate of change of whatever on top. Okay, rate of change, this one, the rate of change of whatever on top. So for example here, if it's displacement divided by time, right, this will be the rate of change of displacement. Okay, now over here, rate of change of velocity, right, that will be this one, rate of change of whatever on top. Notice that? So when you remember this way, then life easy lah. You don't have to memorize every single one of them. Whenever you see divide time, right, straight away, rate of change of whatever on top. I give you one more. Anyone can tell me what other formulas also divide time in chapter 2? Speed is velocity lah, quite easy lah. But for speed, right, it will become rate of change of distance. Beside that, one more thing. Now, what's the formula for impulsive force? What's the formula for impulsive force? mv minus mu over time. Now, based on this, will you be able to tell me what will be the definitions for this? Rate of change of what's on top? Yes, rate of change of momentum. Get it? So this is how you can use this rate of change idea for you to remember every single formula. I mean, not every one of them lah. Whenever you see divide time, there you go. Follow? Okay, rate of change. Next one, take the statement below correctly. Okay, number 1, velocity is a scalar quantity. Is it true? Multiply, then it's not rate lah. Of course, only divide time. Velocity, is it a scalar quantity? No lah. Velocity is what? I mean, just only we say velocity, how do you show directions? Positive and negative, right? Whenever there is directions, that's a vector. Okay. Second thing, velocity, it's a quantity that has both magnitude and directions. Is it true? Yes, because why? This one is literally the definition for what? This is a definition for vector quantity. Vector is the one has both magnitude and directions. Scalar, right? Okay, scalar, right, it will be scalar, right? It will only with magnitude, no directions one. Quantity that has only magnitude, the scalar. Okay, next one, velocity is a derived quantity. Is it true? Velocity is a derived quantity. Yes, right? There you go. Velocity, it's a derived quantity. Base quantity, very limited only lah. Okay. Now, derived quantity got this common thing. Number one, they got formulas. And number two, the formula inside normally got multiply or divide. Can be divide, can be multiply. So whenever you see some terms, right, they have formulas, and the formula is multiply or divide. That's a derived. Okay. That's the thing. Okay. What do you ask? Momentum is mv, correct? No, this is the formula for impulsive force. mv minus mu. Yes. And what is mv minus mu? The change in momentum. Changed in momentum. Like here, why do we take v minus u? It's the change in velocity. Next one, based on 1.2, state the movement of the bicycle. Now you have to describe, right? So I say already, right? Every time when we state movement, what do? We ask ourselves 3 questions. Now, first thing first, the 0 to 5 is over here. Okay. Now, question number 1, you answer lah. Are you moving or not? The green color part, 0 to 5. Moving or not? Moving? Yes. Okay, good. How to tell moving or not? As long as it's not 0. Velocity, as long as it's not 0, it's moving. But listen, displacement is different. Displacement is, if it's flat, the graph is flat, it will be 0. Sorry, it will be not moving. But velocity, right? If you don't move, you're at 0. Different, Okay. Now, next questions. Where are you going? Directions. Where are you going? I say already, I say 1,000 times already. How do you tell directions? Velocity. How do you tell directions? Yes. Look at positive and negative. So on top here is positive, at the bottom here is negative, right? So whenever, as long as your graph located on the positive side, what happened? Whenever your graph located on the positive side, what happened? You are moving forward. And then whenever you located on the negative side, you are moving backwards. All right. So here we got 2 answers already. Number 1, moving. Number 2, forward. Third one, how you move. Okay. How you move. First of all, you see the graph going up, yes? When I say many times already, right? When the graph go up, means the y-axis increase. So you know that your velocity is increasing. That's called accelerations. But then it's curved. You know what does it mean by curve, right? Listen to this. There's no need to memorize the graph, right? Try to understand them better, right? The best way to do, whenever you're not too sure, right? Let me teach you what. Whenever you're not sure about the graph, what you do, you agak, you put number. Now this one I put grids for you to see some more, right? So what you do, right, is that now you estimate like 1 seconds like this, okay, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, and then you draw over. Every time you touch your graph, you draw over, you draw over, you draw over, you draw over. Now look at the value for y. What's happening here? Number 1, of course, is increasing. But did you notice one thing? The increasement, how? You see, I start from the little bit, then it become more and more. What happened to this increasement? It's getting more increasement, right? Not uniform, correct? And besides not uniform, can I say this is increasing? It increases more, right? Yes. So that's why the answer for this is what? This means increasing accelerations. Now, some people will say, hey, I heard before people say what uniform acceleration. What does it mean by that? Now, if I were to translate this into a number for you to see, okay, for example, let's say situation number 1 is like this. I got this object velocity. Situation number 2, I got this object. All right. So let's say we both start from 0. Okay, both start from 0. Now, let's say we start from 0. Okay, 1 second later. Okay, 1 second later, this one 1. Okay, and then 1 also, and then after that 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. For this one, right, 1, 4, 9, 16. Now, if you look at both columns, what do you notice? Both the velocity got increased or not? Both the velocity got increased or not? See, from 1, it becomes 2, become 3, become 4. Both also velocity increases, right? Right? Okay, then you look at the number that is increasing. If you look at this, right, velocity 1 become 2. What happened? Increases by 1, right? And then 2 become 3, increases by 1, right? 3 become 4, increases by 1, right? Okay, but what about this one here? 0 become 1 plus 1. And then here plus how many? 1 become 4 plus how many? From 1 to 4, how many times you plus? You increase by how much? 3, yes. 4 to 5 plus how many? 5. And then 9 to 16 plus how many? 7. Can you see a difference? Okay, first of all, right, you focus onto here. All right, you focus onto here. The velocity is increasing, right? So the moment you see this, I don't care the number behind, right? The moment you notice that you are increasing, okay, then you can already say, what are we having here? This one here is what we know as acceleration. What we know as accelerations. But then you look at the number being increased, right? What about this one here? Look at the number being increased. What happened? The value here, is it fixed? Every time you plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So this is when we can say what? This one is uniform accelerations, constant accelerations. Now, what about this one here? You look at the value, plus 3, plus 5, plus 7. What about the increment? Did you notice the amount you increase is getting more? So what's this called? This is actually called, acceleration block. This is actually called increasing. Okay, so this is why whatever you have here, it's called uniform accelerations. What you have here, it's called increasing accelerations. Understand? Getting it so far? Then back to this. Now you understand, right? When the graph is curving, you will notice they increase. The velocity increasing, yes, but amount they increase is getting more. That's why it's called increasing accelerations. Okay? So, I mean, to be honest, you probably will ask, hey, I thought you said curve graph, right? Exam won't ask you calculate one. Yes. Now, they're not going to ask you calculate curve, but they can ask you about this. Describe this, describe that, and everything. Get it? Okay, so 0 to 5 seconds, what happened? The bicycle is moving forward with increasing acceleration. You see that? 3 questions put together become your answer. Okay, 3 questions put together become an answer. Moving or not, direction how, increasing accelerations. All good. Or can I write the cyclist? Can. Like you want to write the full sentence, you can just write the cyclist moving forward with increasing. I don't care the sentence full or not, to be honest. I just want one simple thing. It's actually here. Moving or not, and then your directions. Okay, your directions, and then what kind of, how do you move? So it's always 3 questions. Okay. Now we do 8 to 15. 8 to 15. Where is it? 8 to 15 is over here, right? What motions? Moving or not? Yes. Directions? Forward or backward? The blue color one. Why do I still see people writing backward one? I got explained already what? Positive. Moving forward. And then it's going down. Means what? It's going down. What happened? Velocity drops. What do you call that? Decelerations. But then, right, you look at the graph. Is it straight line? Is it straight line? If it's a straight line, means what? It's like every second I minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. Minus means what? Decelerate. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It means what? Constant, uniform, right? So the final answer for this would be, what is it? You will be having moving, yes, forward still with uniform, also can, constant also can. You can write either one. Uniform also can, constant also can. So this is what you have here. Number 1, moving or not, and then after that, directions, and then after that, how. Okay, so all together, this is how it works for your motion graph. Can? Are you done? Can I move on further? I want to do a bit of calculations. Okay, next one. Based on the 1.2, calculate the acceleration of the bicycle from t equals to 5 seconds to t equals to 8 seconds. Now, I already said curve, they won't ask one calculate one. That's why they was mentioned. Okay, curve, they won't ask calculations one. They won't ask you calculations for curve. So now what they want you to calculate the graph from here to here. Okay, they want you calculate 5 to 8 over here. Okay, how do you calculate acceleration of the graph? Okay, listen, this is when, right, we use the shortcut calculations already. Okay, for motion graph, how do we do that? Every time when you see this word, calculate in your motion graph. Whenever you see them calculate this, calculate that, whatever, okay, rules number 1, do this, okay? List down this SVA thing. Yes, so now, this SVA shortcut, right, it's like an escalator. So what you do, right, you draw one side going down, which side also can, your choice. Can be right side going down as well. As long as one side going down, one side going up, just like escalator. One side going down, one side going up. Okay. Then left hand side, right hand side. How do you know which one is which? Right now, you say, oh, after I draw this, then what? One side supposed to calculate gradient, one side supposed to calculate area, right? Now, simple one. What you do, you look at the arrow that goes up. You look at the arrow that goes up. Where is it? Arrow that goes up starts from where? If you look at the arrow that goes up, it starts from A and then go up, right? So I teach you this way. Whenever you see, right, the arrow that starts from A, you look at the A, it reminds you of what? A for area. Then on the other side, it's gonna be the gradient. See that? On the other side, it's gonna be the gradient. Got it? Now, how do we use this thing? Every time you want to calculate whatever motion graph, right? You start from drawing this. Start by drawing this. Second thing, what you do next? Then you start to decide one thing. Where should you start? Okay, where you start, very simple. You look at the graph here. This is the velocity time graph, right? Where you start, it will depends on whatever graph provided. If they give you a velocity graph, then that's it. This one here, if they give you a velocity graph, right, it means what? You are starting from here. Okay? So if they give you a displacement graph, if the question provide a ST graph, then we start from this. They provide an AT graph, then we start from this. You getting it? So over here, what happened for this? What they want? Okay, I start from velocity, but what they want me to calculate accelerations, right? So you look at this thing, you are here, you are looking for A. Where is A? Upstairs or downstairs? Where is A? You want to calculate accelerations. It's downstairs, right? How do you go downstairs? How do you go downstairs? Which escalator do you take to go down? From here, go down. See that? What does it say here? That is called gradient. Now, if you calculate area, you will end up going up, then you get displacement. So this is why, right, for velocity graph, if you want to calculate accelerations, you go down by calculating gradient of the graph. If you want to calculate displacement, you go up by calculating area of the graph. Do you understand the idea? So this is the concept here. So calculate acceleration of the bicycle. Okay, meaning that what we're supposed to calculate? We're supposed to calculate accelerations by calculating what? The gradient of the graph. The gradient of the graph. Can? Now, I leave it to you to calculate yourself. But you follow me first. Now, one more thing. What about this one here? You're supposed to calculate displacement, right? What do we calculate for displacement? What do we calculate for displacement? You calculate for area, because now you want to go upstairs, right? But then listen to this, they want you to calculate from T5 seconds to T20 seconds. Where is it? Now, if you look at the graph now, where is 5 to 20? 5 here onwards. Did you notice your graph, I mean the area they ask you calculate involve both the positive and negative side? Then how? Now, listen, every time when we calculate area, right, you see, I don't like to use the word area under graph. Then you always want to go down. No, it's not. What you do, right, you always calculate the area between your graph and the x-axis. Your stopping point is x-axis. For example, if your graph is on top, right, you swipe down, you swipe down, you swipe down all the way. This is what you get. Okay, the area. Then you stop there. No, don't go down because you stop at the x-axis. Now, if your graph is underneath, then you start to swipe up again. Swipe up, swipe up, swipe up, swipe up. There you go. See that? And then question, guys. Basically, here is one area. Here's another area, right? What are you supposed to do? Let's say I tell you this is 1, and then this is 2. What are you supposed to do? Do you sum them up? Or do you minus them? Okay, here's the thing. This part, right, you are going backwards. This part, right, you are going forward. Now, listen. No matter what lah, okay? A lot of people say, oh, I sum them up. Because the answer I got here is negative. The idea is what? You plus a negative answer, it means you literally minus. Yes, so whenever we're calculating area, because we are moving forward here, we are moving backwards here, that's why we're supposed to take this one minus this one. As long as the two area you found, right, cancel, need to minus each other. You get me, right? Now we try. Okay, not we try, you try. I already give you the answers. All right, you help me to calculate both of these questions. I'll give you some time, you try, and then I discuss question with you. I discuss the answer with you. Okay, first thing first, you calculate the area, the acceleration first. Okay, then after that, you calculate the displacement. Try. I give you some time, you try and get me answers. Once you got the answers right, you send the answer to me. I send a message. If you, you can send the answer in the direct message one, so you don't have to worry that, hey, my answer is wrong, then people laugh at me how. Just send me a direct message. I go toilet for a while. Okay, I'm back. Right, now look. So for gradient part, You know how you calculate gradient, right? This one, your maths a bit, right? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 minus y1 means what? It's over here. y2, y1, okay? This part, 5 to 8 seconds only. So the y2 will be 20, the y1 is 5, x2, x1, 8 and 5. So that's why answer would be 20, okay? 20 minus 5 divided by 8 minus 5, right? And how much do you get? We calculate for both lah. A lot of you only calculate for area, right? 20 minus 5 divided by 3. Did you get 5? 5 what? ms negative 2, correct? Okay, then the area, how you calculate? Okay, for area wise, right? You see, this one. Okay, for area, what you do? Look, first of all, you need to calculate from 5 to 8. Now, you cannot calculate this one short one. It's actually two different shapes. So what I'm going to do, right? I calculate this part first. You know what shape is this, right? This one here. It's a trapezium. Then after that, you need to calculate this part, this part, this part. What shape is this? It's a triangle. Now, the bottom one, you can calculate one shot because like that, the whole thing, it's a trapezium. Now, to be honest, there's no running away from trapezium one. A lot of people will say like, can I don't do trapezium instead? I calculate triangle and rectangle or square. You could do that, but what's the point? Kind of wasting time, right? So might as well we do one shot. So this trapezium here, what we're going to do is that, do you know how to calculate trapezium, right? 1 over 2, the long one plus the short one. Longer side is 20, shorter side is 5, sum together, and then multiply the base is 3. Why is it 3? 5 times 8. Okay, 5 times 8. So altogether what we get? This one. 25 times 3 divided by 2. We get 37.5 meter. Now, whatever you found is only here, this part. Following? Now, meanwhile, you also have to calculate the pink color one. Okay? So, for the pink color one, right, it will be 1 over 2. Now, it's just a rectangle, it's just a triangle anyway. So, you can just take height and base multiply together. The height is, again, you get 20 plus the bottom part here, 8 to 15. That means how many? 7 now, right? No, cannot 15 now, 8 to 15. It's only in between. That's why 7. So what do we get now? 20 multiplied by 7 divided by 2, 70 meter. Okay, now both of this is what? You are moving forward one. Okay, the 37.5 is forward, the 70 meter is also forward. Now, next thing, you got the bottom part. Okay, now, a lot of people ask, actually, should I do the minus 4 or not? Should I put 4 or should I put minus 4? Actually, both also can. All right, now, look, what I do, trapezium, same thing also, right? The longer side plus the shorter side, and then multiply the height. Now, the longer side is how much? 15 to 20 is actually just 5. And then the short one, 18 to 20, then plus 2. After that, normally for me, I put negative 4. Why? Because when I put negative answers, right, I will get a negative area, which reminds me that, okay, they are going backwards. Okay, so that's why 5 plus 2 multiply 4 divide by 2. Did you get negative 14 here? Did you get negative 14 here? 7 times 4 divided by 2, 14, right? So here it's 14 meter, but you know you are going backwards because of the negative. So a lot of people say, can I just sum them up? If you do this, you can sum up because you will get this one plus this one plus this one, which means minus anyway. So this is the whole idea of solving them. Top part is moving forward, bottom part is moving backwards. So all this, you put them together, they become the answer you need. Okay, something like this. So first part, this one plus this one plus this one. Okay, now you want to do plus can, but must put negative. If not, if you just put 4, then you need to know yourself, this is going backwards, so negative. So finally, you will end up getting this plus 70 plus negative 14, which means minus because you're going backwards. That's why sum them up together, you get answer. And how much do we get for this? 37.5 plus 70 minus 14, 93.5 meter. Did you manage to get answers? Got it? Questions so far? I see some of you not getting answers. Why? Which part made mistake? Which part that you lost your mark? The trapezium part, the plus minus thing, you calculate wrongly. There you go. Okay. Now, questions regarding these calculations? Are you done? Can I move on? Okay. Just now I want to go into the essay thing. I got time, I come back for more motion graph questions. Are you done? Are you done for this? Hello? Are you done for this? If not, then I take away, you say you haven't copied yet. Okay, are you done for this? Can I move on? All right, next, you go to these questions. Page number 8. Page number 8. Okay. I show you section B essay first. This one more likely for, I mean, not these questions. This format more likely come out in your coming as exam. SVA escalator only apply for motion graph. Yes. I mean that's the shortcut meant for motion graph. Now over here, diagram 11.2 shows a wheelchair used by a disabled athlete to help his movement in sports event. Always, right, what you do, study the question first. A lot of times, right, the problem about essay is what you all like to answer using your own logic. You see like, hey, I thought normally it's like this. That's normally, so you must look at the questions and answer to their needs, right? You must look at the question and answer to their needs. As in, they want you to they want you to design for sports athlete for this one is different one. Have you seen wheelchair of athlete before? Like you know what's a Paralympic? So have you seen that wheelchair? It's very different than the one you see in hospital one. Exactly. So what you want to do is you want to design this for sports event. Meaning that this thing you want to make sure it helps to win the competitions one. So you have to choose one. Okay. Now let me give you some time. You go through this. Okay. Go through this PQRS, and then you tell me which one is the most suitable wheelchair for the sports event. Let's just say you want this to for Paralympic, to join like basketball Paralympic, or maybe like whatever. Okay, come choose one. Choose one. The answer I will post. I say already. Don't worry about the answer first. Okay, I will post. Just don't worry about that. Of course, I give you the question, I give you the answer. So there's no need to worry about the answer. Okay, I will explain to you afterward where do you get the answers, how you get everything. You answer this question first. Go through this question first. Yes, I want everything to move. I want everybody to move on together. Here's the thing: when you go through all these things yourself, when I'm talking about F, you go and do number 2 and number 3. You ask me a question about number 3. Then when I come back for this, right, you are lost. So move on together so I can manage everybody together, right? PQRS, choose one for sports event. What's angle of camber? Listen, I'm not gonna answer anything. You choose first. In exam, who you ask? In exam, who you ask, you choose yourself first, right? And to be honest, they will tell one. Look at the diagrams, right? Okay, so I see most of you give me what? Either you all tell me is R, or else you tell me is P. Okay, never mind. Listen, this kind of questions, right? Got one thing very important. So you listen to this. Number one, don't write conclusion first. That's the biggest problem everybody does. Like, you choose already. Let's say, okay, yeah, maybe your answer is Q. Then what's the first thing you write here? You should already say, oh, Q is the best because Q like this, because Q like this, because Q like this. Now, if you answer this way, right, you're not gonna get any marks at all. Now, you will notice one. Your answer is the same. Okay, whatever you say is correct, but you will not get any marks. So this is why I want to discuss about this essay, because essay is another one, right? When your formula is wrong, your teacher don't even bother reading. They just go put a 0 and then move on already. Okay, first of all, now what you do, you see, if you go through the questions, what they instruct you to do, first, you need to explain the suitability of each characteristics. Then you determine the most suitable wheelchair. You see the point or not? Explain suitability first and then determine the most suitable one, right? So you cannot terbalik. It's like, okay, simple as this. When you do experiment, what do you write on top? Before you start doing experiment, do you straight away write the report like first line, conclusion first, then only do experiment? No, right? We normally write down the hypothesis, the final only conclusion, right now? Getting the idea? Okay, another example for you lah. Okay, imagine someone asks you, what is your ideal boyfriend? What's your ideal boyfriend gonna be like? How you gonna answer them? Do you tell them straight away like, oh, I want ideal boyfriend to be this guy? Okay, I want my ideal boyfriend to be this person. Is it true? No, right? You list down your criteria, right? Oh, I want my ideal boyfriend to be tall, handsome, smart, funny, humorous, rich, doesn't drink, doesn't gamble, doesn't smoke, doesn't flirt with other girls, doesn't exist, right? So then only you tell them, hey, this guy fulfill criteria. So this guy is my ideal boyfriend. So what you do is we explain one by one first, then only you tell them. You see that? Then only you tell them. Okay. So first thing first, that's why you literally ignore all this. We don't care what choices I have here. This one you don't care all the way. You just tell me one thing: the diameter of tire. Okay. In your mind, the best wheelchair for sports athlete, diameter of wire should be big or small. Like that. So over here, what do you think? Diameter of wire, diameter of tire, as in this one. This is called the diameter of the tire. And when I say diameter of tire, of course when your diameter is bigger means what? The wheel is bigger. Smaller means the wheel is smaller. So do you want a big wheel or you want a small wheel? You want a big wheel or you want a small wheel? So when I say diameter of tire, big is like this. Diameter of tire, small, it's like this. And of course, the answer is going to be, yes, bigger tire, the better. Why bigger tire? Why bigger tire? You see how they move. Reduce frictions, reduce air frictions, those are not answers. Stable is not accurate. More stable is not accurate. Now, you know how they move? They will use their hand to roll the wheel. So if you roll one time like that, you think about this. If your wheel is bigger, you know what's the advantage when you roll one time? When you roll one time, when your wheel is bigger, when you roll one time, you travel more distance. Exactly. If your wheel is small, you roll one time, you travel a bit only, right? The logic is a bit like, legs. Some of your friends got shorter legs, some of them got longer legs. And then the shorter legs when you walk with them, right, you'll notice they always need to walk faster on. Why? Because their leg cannot cover more distance, then they have to take more steps, right? If your leg is longer, what happens? You take one step equals to your friend 2 steps already. Getting what I mean, right? So the bigger the diameter is better. Why? Because you can travel further distance. Okay? Later, I will show you how to answer. We go through all the points first. Width of tire means what? People say, hey, width and diameter, what's the difference? Width, you see, diameter is this thing, the size of the wheel, big or small. Width is this thing, the width of the tire. Should it be wide or narrow? Why wide and why narrow? You tell me any answer, I'll ask you why. Why narrow? And then why wide? You actually, this one, you of course you don't exactly learn in physics, right? But you think about this. Have you seen those competitions before? Perhaps not wheelchair lah. Bicycle. Those Olympic riding bicycle one. Their wheels, right? Their width, right? Is it wide or narrow? Super narrow, very thin, right? Exactly. So same thing here lah. The width of tire supposed to be narrow. Now I get it. People always tell me that, hey, I thought wide is more stable one. Yes, but again, listen, this is for sports event. Means what? You want to win. Okay, then you don't care about your safety whatsoever already. And I mean they do lah, but then the main criteria is competitions, right or not? That's why narrow better. Okay, when you do sports, of course, it will involve certain risk of all this problem one, right? But then you take a balance point, that's why narrow. So let's say they ask you design a wheelchair for hospital for your patients, very comfortable one. That one choose wide, correct. But sports, what do we do? Narrow, because why? They touched the ground lesser, meaning what? They got lesser frictions. Hospital one, of course not lah. Hospital, why you want to go faster? Hey, hello, you already have a broken leg. Someone want to have a wheelchair that is narrow, then you break another leg. These are different. These are, their leg memang already broken one. That's why. So it's for competitions. It's different. Okay. Now next, what about the height of the seat? Should it be taller or lower? This one I think shouldn't be an argument, right? High, low, high. Of course, low lah. Why low? Okay, I get this too a lot. People say, oh, higher got more air frictions. That is not accurate, because when your seat is higher, lower, right? Actually, the surface in contact with air is pretty much same one. Yeah, lor. You lower also your body this size. You higher also your body this size, right? So lower height for one reason. What is it? This one a bit of Form 3 anyway. Yes, more stable. Now you say more stable is correct. Because when your height is lower means what? Your center of gravity, it's lower. Your center of gravity, it's lower. More stable, because again, when you're doing sports, you want to make sure your wheelchair can go faster, but then, anyhow, sure got a bit of collisions one. So when you collide, then you fall down, then there'll be problem for you to get up, right? That's why the height of the seat should be lower. Okay. Next, what about the angle of camber? Now, a lot of people ask one, what's this camber thing? Simple. Look at this. Because you don't learn, here's the rules. Whenever you don't learn this, right, they will surely teach you one. They cannot expect you or by yourself. They don't. So that's why over here, right, the angle of camber means what? It's over here. Okay. Now, normal wheelchair, they're not like this. Normally wheelchair, what you see, the wheel is like straight one, right? The wheelchair normally is straight like this, right or not? But have you seen those competition one before? They normally tilted out. Why? You want this angle of camber? Of course, the answer should be bigger, right? Why? Simple. You see, if you do this, what happened to the top and bottom? Can you compare? Could you see difference? The bottom part is much bigger than top part, right? More stable. Okay, listen to this. When you want to say more stable, not to say cannot. Further explain a bit. Because why? This one also you say more stable. This one also you say more stable. Your answer is repeating what? Right or not? Then further elaborate. There is many reasons causing the stability to change. Like for example, the height control the center of gravity. That's why more stable. The angle of camber control stability, because now your base area is bigger. So what is the reason behind more stable? You have to explain. Okay, then finally we go back to the first point here. Which one is the best? Which one fulfills all the criteria you want? Like you described already, oh, my dream ideal wheelchair should be this. Oh, just so happen R fulfills all the criteria, so R is the best. Get it? Okay, now I show you how to answer. Down here, this table don't have one. You get a full scale paper, you draw yourself one. I just don't want to waste time drawing, that's why I draw for you. Now on top you write title. Title actually very easy one. You just put your choice there, right? They don't minus mark one, right? Choice and then reason. Okay, or you want to write expect also can, and then explanation for this side also can. Not important, just title anyway. First of all, first one, diameter of tire, how? Diameter of tire, how? Okay, first of all, just how we say, right? Now, diameter of tire should be bigger. That's the whole point. See? Okay, listen to this. As much as this thing is called essay, but we are not writing like essay lah. If you're wondering, say, hey, essay, then should I do all the beautiful language, flowery words, bombastic words? No need. Okay, you have to understand this is physics anyway. Grammar is not your main concern. You have to answer your scientific answers. You get it? So diameter of tire should be bigger, right? And then the reason why, just now we say already, right? Bigger tire will be able to travel a further distance. See that? Yes, like this will do. Short sentence, you are good to go already. That's why I don't recommend writing point forms. Short sentence like that. Okay. Next one, width of tire. Narrow, of course. All right, narrow width of tire. Why? Just now we mentioned, right? The tire narrow. What's the advantage of doing so? Lesser surface area in contact. What does it do? When you got lesser surface area in contact, reduce the frictions acting against the tire. Okay, so short sentence like this will do. Short sentence will do. Yeah. One more. Height of the seat. Lower height of seat. And why is that so? Just now you mentioned, right? The seat lower, so that what happened? Lower center of gravity, more stable. Finally, we want larger angle of camber. Why? Because the bottom is bigger, right? Base area larger, higher stability. You can say more stable, you can say higher stability. And there you go. This is what you expect to write in exam. Okay, you want to make them in a more complete sentence also can, but there's no need to write a lot of words like a long sentence or paragraph. Don't, right? Now, doing table is the most recommended way, because why? SPM they accept, school also they accept. A lot of school teachers, let me tell you what, they prefer you doing table form, because table is more neat, more clean. You see, you write everything one lump like that, right? You need to understand number one. Are you sure you have a very nice handwriting? Are you sure your teacher likes it? But let me tell you what, table form, very neat, very clean, easier for your teacher to mark. That's the whole point. So you see, all the 4 aspects, we have it here already. Okay, so you tell them diameter of tire, how, and then reason. Okay, the width, how, reason, the height, reason, the angle, reason, right? How many tick do you have here? Where got paragraph? Write this way. I say already, write this way. Okay, I said write table, right? Since forever, just now from the beginning, I say write table, right? Where got paragraph? So don't write paragraph. Exactly, you listen to the whole thing. 8 marks only not enough, right? How many marks you need? You need 10, right? Then did you notice the final column here? I don't separate them. I give you like one big column. Now only you tell them who is the best. Therefore, okay, the most suitable wheelchair should be which one? R because now you literally recopy all these things. Just now, all the advantage you said you want it to be because, all right, wheelchair R has a larger diameter tire, narrow width of tire, lower height of seat, and larger angle of camber. Yes, literally you are copying. Okay, so what happened? They give you 1 mark for choosing the wheelchair correctly. They give you 1 more mark for recopying all these things here. So that's why I say when you explain all the aspect, right, you get 8 marks only. Right? Where does the another 2 come from? This one, the conclusion. That's why your choice 8 marks, your conclusion 10. Okay, so all together, this will be 10 marks. Get it? Do we draw table? Didn't I just say it just now? The table I draw for you. In exam, you get full scape paper only. You have to draw table yourself. You don't get table. Okay, I draw for you because I don't want you to waste time drawing table now. I say this 1 more time. Table, you draw yourself because you get full scape in your exam. Right? I said this already. Why you don't want to listen to me? You see? When you don't listen, then you ask the same question like 5 seconds later. Hospital wheelchair don't ask one. No. Nobody asked for hospital wheelchair. That's not your chapter 2. Lower center of gravity means it's more stable. This is what you learn in stability. Chapter Form 2, I think, or Form 3 chapters. Are you done? Okay, now, of course, typical question you ask. What if this one wrong? Then do how many marks do I get? Listen, if you do all correct, 10 marks. So, number 1, if your reason right wrong, but you choose correct, do you get marks or not? That would depend on your teacher. Normally, if your teacher is more lenient, right, you choose this correctly, they give 1 mark. But your reason you write wrongly, then 0. So you still get 1. But some teacher, they feel like when your reason wrong, right, you don't know what you're doing, you just step back only. So some teacher, right, they don't give marks for both points. Yes, but by right lah, when your reason wrong, but you choose correct, got 1 mark one. Of course, if you say, hey, what if this one is wrong, this one is wrong, then of course I choose wrongly, and this one also wrong, right? Do I get 0? No lah. The marks is separated one. So let's say you got 1 point is wrong, then your answer is wrong as well. Then this is correct, you will get 6 marks still. So it's not 0 or 10 marks. They will distribute the marks accordingly. That's why I tell you where the marks come from. Okay, your choice, your reason, your choice, your reason, your choice, your reason. That's why always 4 points and then 8. After that, choose correctly, recopy all the thing, got 2 more marks for you. That's why this is what I know as the decide essay. You literally, right, 4 points, 8 marks, and then conclusion 2. All good? Questions regarding this? Are you done? Are you done writing this down? I need to move on already. This is section B. Section B, decide questions. Section C is different one. I show section C later. Let me finish up section B first. Okay. Are you done for this? Okay, next. I show you now. Section B is like this. Whenever you get table, listen lah. I don't want to repeat myself again. Especially when I explain this 5 seconds later, you ask the questions. All right. Now, section B, then you get a table one. Okay, you get a table one. Like for example, let's say one more. Look at this. Where does this come up? This question, which part they ask you about it? Section B or section C? Got table means section B. Okay, now we go on some more. Then later on, you will see this. Do you see any table for this question? Any table for this question? No, they're not. This is not considered table. When I say table, it's the one that they let you choose. Any table provided? No, right? That is where we have the section C questions. So this type, okay, this one, it will be section C, the design style. Okay, the design style. So what you have here, right? You see, have you seen this? Have you seen this before? The petrol tank truck, the petrol tanker truck. Seen before? Yes, no, yes. Normally you see them on the road, right? Like, you know, Shell, Petronas, whatever, okay? They used to carry petroleum inside one. So now they want to design this thing. Now, do you learn this or not? Kind of, because why? I think we learned this before. Which part? When we talk about this petrol tank, it will be under your inertia actually. That's why I say, do you really get like actual questions in your textbook? No, but they will use the knowledge that you learn in textbook. Okay, first of all, for example here, compartment of the lorry. You know what means by compartment? See, when we say fuel tank like that, what's the special thing about them? When we say fuel tank like this, is it really like a one tank? Is it really like, you know, this thing, is it like just one big tank like this? Normally they're not, right? You know how does it look like inside? They got many compartments. Exactly. Why? Why? Because now, if you just do one compartment, right, there's a problem. The petroleum inside will be like in one shot together. When you move forward, okay, and backwards, the liquid inside will start moving back and forth, back and forth. Imagine you're driving. Suddenly you stop. When you stop, right, you will see all the petrol start to rush in front. They start to gush in front. Okay, so all these things, all the petroleum hit the wall here. Of course, the wall will break, right? So instead, what do we do? In real life, what do we do for this petrol tank? We cut them into sections, right? Like in between, we put them, we create like compartments like that. So it's basically, instead of having one fuel tank, what do you have now? It's like one fuel tank, two fuel tank, three fuel tank, four fuel tank. Because in this case now, right, instead of having one wall, you now have like one wall, two wall, three wall, and four wall. When you press the brake, what happens? The petrol here will hit here. The petrol here hit this. The petrol here hit this. The petrol here hit this. You kind of like, you know, subdivide the mass. And yes, you are trying to reduce. Now, when you say reduce inertia, not good. The full answer is supposed to be what? You're trying to reduce the effect of inertia. The better word to use is, you want a full answer, right? You're supposed to say they reduce effect of inertia. Yep. So first of all, now look, whenever we talk about this kind of design essay, right? Design essay got no table one, means you got no conclusion. Your final point, you don't say like, oh, I want, therefore the most suitable truck is like this. No. Okay, this thing, what happened is like that. Again, I said already, essay is 10 marks. So this is what I already said before. Okay, decide we done already. Okay, choose 8 marks. Conclusion 2, that's why 10. Design, right, also 10. But then since you got no conclusions, what happened? Then it becomes 5 times 2, meaning that you have to write 5 points. 5 points. Multiply 2 is 10 marks, not 20. Okay, so that's why back to this thing, what happened now? Here's the thing. Of course, they don't just let you die, to be honest. Do you expect like the question is going to be like, oh, everything you solve yourself, they will give you a bit of hint. That's why you see, here they say, your answer should be based on the following expect. But we have a problem here. You look at the expect below, how many points and how many hints they give you? If you look at this expect here, how many hint was provided? If you think about it, no, it's not even 4, you know. It's not even 4. Why? They only give you 3 hints, right? Did you realize this is what they do? Others. You know what I mean by others, right? A lot of people, when you look at others, you feel like, oh, others means you go die, right? No. Now, others is you can freestyle yourself. Because why? Now, we used to give everything last time lah. Okay, last time for SPM, right? They used to give everything, like literally they give 5 aspect, you follow, answer every one of them, marks ready. But then eventually people start to complain, say like, hey, not that I never study, you know, the point I study you never give, then I cannot write my answers. So instead of that, what they do now, they put others. Others means what? Whatever that you think is suitable. Now again, you think suitable and actually is suitable, not different one. Okay, so normally situations like that in exam, the marking scheme, they'll provide about 8 to 10 points. By right, it should be 5 points only, right? They provide more. So you can kena either one, they give you marks. You get it? So that's why, right, when we say others, is it a good news or not? Well, for people who study, yes, because your answer is more acceptable. You're not restricted by the aspect. But of course, for those who don't study, right, you look at these others, you feel like dying one. You will feel like, hey, how others? What am I supposed to write? So give and take lah. There's good side, there's bad side of it. So when we say others, well, it's freestyle lah. Okay, but again, no matter others or not, how many marks? These questions? How many marks? 10, right? How many points you must write? 5, right? So no matter what you do, you die, come out 5 points. Yes. So, but one thing very important, the aspect they give you, you must write. Okay, meaning this one, 3. So how many others you supposed to write? You have to write 2 others, because like that, you will get altogether 5 points. Okay. Now a lot of people will say, hey, what if I don't know the brake systems? Can I just do 1, 2, and then I put 3 here? Can I do this or not? Cannot. The point they give, you must follow. The point they give, you must answer at least once. Yes, so that's why you cannot say, oh, I don't know how to answer this. I don't write. I answer this, and then I spend more point for others. Then might as well, right? Let's say all these you don't answer. You do like 5 points on others only. Cannot like that one. So all the aspect they give it to you, you must follow. Okay. First thing we mentioned already, compartment supposed to be more. Why more compartment? Because the more compartment, right, they will divide the mass into smaller sizes, divide the petroleum into smaller mass, and then the inertia effect will be reduced. Okay. Now next, what about the braking systems? Actually, same one. We studied this before, right? Remember we talked about the safety feature for car before that? So what kind of braking system do we use? What kind of braking system do we use? Yep, answer is, we mentioned that before, right? What's that? ABS, correct, ABS. Now, here's the thing, you probably will argue with me one. For those who are very into truck, you really like truck one, you study truck one. You know, the real life truck, they don't use ABS brake. The normal truck, they use air brake one. Okay, have you heard sound like that before? When you're next to them, you get like gas releasing it. You get the gas releasing sound. Sometimes, especially the big truck and everything, you will get like psss, like that. You will see them releasing gas one. Because what happened for normal bus, truck they use something called air brake. Is it the best? No, ABS is better, but cheaper. Cheaper. Truck that's the thing. It's very expensive to build. That's why they cut costs here and there. Is it gonna die? No but cheaper lor. So you say, what if I want to get a very safe truck? Can I put ABS on it? Can. Just that not as effective lah. Cost effective and everything. So usually you will see, if you pass by a truck and then it makes sounds like bzzz, and then before they move on, that means they are using air brake. But that one not your problem lah. Now here's the thing. What's ABS? Remember we don't do short form, to be honest. We have to write the full name. So what's ABS? ABS stands for anti-lock braking systems. Now, you know how brake works, right? They clamp it's a bit like bicycle tire. They clamp the tires of the bicycle. But instead of for car, right, they clamp the brake disc. Yes. So for ABS, what they do, they don't clamp die there one. They will clamp, let go, clamp, let go, clamp, let go. So when they do this, right, your car won't lose control. Okay. We mentioned this before about this ABS, remember? There we go. Next one, what about the gap between the truck? Do you want a bigger gap or smaller gap? Again, a lot of times whenever you cannot answer, right, what's the best thing to do? Think about real life. Think about real life example. So what do you think it is? The gap big or small? You notice, right, most of the truck, the big truck, whatever, there will be spacing. And is it big or small? Big, right? Why? Oh no, should be bigger, not smaller. Bigger. Why bigger? You want to make sure, number one, the behind part don't collide in front. Okay. Second thing, one more thing also, a very practical reason. So that the load doesn't hit the driver through, so that the back tank doesn't collide onto the front driver cabin. Correct. One more thing, actually, it's a very practical reason. With the gap, you know what's the good thing about this? Easier for them to turn. Easier for them to turn. Yes, because right, if the whole thing is just one, very hard to turn one. Like, think about what, for example, train, LRT, whatsoever. Notice they got gap between as well. You know why? If imagine the whole thing is just one object, no separation, no parts one, then how you turn? Now, actually, example, just like your hand, you see, your hands, right, got joint, right? You can turn your joint easily. You can turn your joint easily. Make sense? But imagine now your entire hand, it's a straight metal rod, cannot turn one. Okay, cannot rotate one. Then when you turn, you need to turn the whole hand like this, right? You see the form, right? When you turn, it will be very hard for the bus to turn. So for the truck to turn as well. So with the gap between, it's like you can turn your head first before you turn your body. It's like, again, our body, look at this, look at my face, you see, like that. You can turn your neck freely because why? There's a gap between your shoulder and your head. So imagine you got no neck like this. Then when you turn, you are basically stuck because you have to turn your entire body to be over. But now with this gap, right, you see, you can move your head freely, but then your body don't need to follow. So gap bigger is better to prevent the back part colliding the front part, and also they easier for the truck to be able to turn. Get it? Now, then we go into the final point here, others, because now we answered 3 points already, but then we need 2 more here. What is the other things that you feel like is important? Safety design, so that they can transport the fuel. They can transport the fuel safely. So you want to think about things like that. No lah. Seatbelt, that one is not the best answers. How, like when we design truck, what's the special thing about truck compared to normal car? They are very heavy. So what you need? Larger tire can. Some more. If I don't say larger tire, what can I say? More tire. More tire also can. Why more tire? Because, right, this thing is very heavy. So the more tires it is, right, they will reduce the pressure acting on the ground. They don't destroy the ground. Okay, have you seen, like, those industrial area? Sometimes your car pass by the industrial area. The road, right, is always like broken one. Here got one pothole, there got one pothole, here got one pothole, there one, right? The reason is because, right, those roads are is very frequently passed by heavy trucks. Now, they are very heavy. So when they go through roads like that, they will tend to destroy the road and everything. And sometimes if you go to muddy area, sandy area, what happens? Your tire will get stuck in the ground. So that's why to have more tire is better. Because when your tire is bigger, all right, tires bigger, more tire also same thing. The area in contact is more. Now, why need more area contact? Because the pressure will become lesser. Okay. Now, do you remember you learning a formula before? It says pressure. Pressure formula. Last time I think you learned before. Anyone can tell me how do we calculate pressure? Force over area. So this is why, right, we need to have more tires, because when you got more tires, the area in contact increases, the pressure acting on the ground smaller. Okay, simple, you can try lah. You see, now what you do, right? You use your entire palm, you put in your face, and then you push your face, right? Okay, push your face a bit like this. Any pain? Do you feel painful at all? No, right? Okay, now, right, instead of using the whole palm, right, do this. One finger, and then start poking yourself. Is this more painful compared to the whole hand? Which one is more painful? The finger or the palm? The finger or the palm more painful? Which one? The finger, right? Why? Because the area in contact smaller, the pressure bigger. So we do this. We increase the surface area so that the pressure is lesser. Get it? Understand? Another thing beside this, okay, when you transporting petrol tank, right, there's one thing most important is what? This is very dangerous. They are not like the usual bus. They are not like usual truck, right? You are carrying petroleum, which is flammable. That okay. They will do this thing that, okay, let me show you this diagram. Did you notice sometimes, right? Some of the truck behind, there will be a metal wire, metal chain dangling down there, touching the road. Have you seen this before? Or sometimes they like to hang some random things on, like maybe a plushie, a toy, whatsoever. Seen before? They just literally dragging on the ground one. You know what's this for? Do you know what is that metal chain for? No, not for oil leaking. Hello, oil leaks out. They flow down to the floor. Your entire floor is oil. You're gonna burn everybody, what? No, it's not. Okay, here's the thing. You see, when you're traveling a long distance, you move forward, the air will friction through the body. What happens next? You will create a lot of static. You will have a lot of extra charges on the body. And then you see, you know what happens when you got static, right? You know what happens when you have charges, right? They create sparks. So imagine when you're pumping petrol whatsoever, or you open the tank, you get one tiny spark, then the whole thing be on fire. Getting the point now? So this long chain for what? Because it's metal, it helps to discharge the truck. Like, just imagine when you travel, okay, there will be a lot of extra charges, a lot of extra static charged electron on the body already. If you don't do the metal chain, they are stuck here. They got nowhere to go. So what they do, right? Now the metal chain, it's a bit like a connectors. They connect the metal part of the car to the earth. We call this as the earth, which is the ground. So what does it do is it will ensure, okay, it ensure all these electron, how they move from here, okay, all these electron, they ensure all these extra charges, extra electron, right? They go from here, flow down to the earth. Yes. This logic feels a bit like what? You know what's a lightning conductor? People install for their on top of their roof also. They draw all these extra charges to the ground also. Yeah. So for doing that, then your tank will not have any extra charges. Having static is very scary. You might think, hey, got so scary, man. Now, petroleum is very flammable. One little spark, the whole thing on fire. That's why you see, in petrol stations, they all tell you not to play with the phone, right? But let me tell you one thing. You know what is more dangerous than playing phone in petrol stations? You know what's more dangerous compared to playing phone in petrol stations? Hey, smoking, of course. Hello. No. Besides smoke, there's this one gesture of you, right? You don't notice one. It's constantly getting up and down into the car. Like, let's say a father pumping petrol, then you got nothing to do. Then you cannot play phone. You feel agitated. So what happens next? You get out of the car, you go up with the car, you get out of the car, you go up with the car, you get down of the car, right? Now, your car got cushion, right? Then sometimes, you know, you all kind of clothing you wear, and let's just so happen that day you wear a curtain shirt, right? See, when you get up of the car, when you go in, you see your butt gonna rub a bit of the body, you know, rub through the seats a bit. When you keep doing this up and down, up and down, up and down, what happens? You are going to create a lot of excessive charges. When you create a lot of electric static, what happens? Then you get spark. A lot of people don't notice this. Yes, and sometimes, you know, when I see like some motorcyclists, they sit on top of their motorcycle and then pump petrol. That's very dangerous, because when they sit on top, right, they move, then you will create a lot of extra charges. All these extra charges create sparks, and then boom, on fire one. So next time your father pumping petrol, what you do simple, you just stay in the car. Don't get down. Get down can one time now. Don't keep going in and out of the car. That thing will create a lot of extra sparks, a lot of extra statics. It's actually more dangerous. Why can't we play phone actually? Okay, I will say one thing. Okay. In petrol station playing phone, right? It's quite safe one. A lot of people. Okay, this is a very arguable point. There are scientists, they go through research, they try before playing phone in a petrol station, don't. Okay, don't create any sparks. But to be safe, they will ask you not to play phone. No? Petroleum, I'm sorry, for handphone, right? They don't create sparks. They create a lot of extra energy, which will heat up your surrounding. Because when we play phone, we use a lot of microwave and radio wave. The one you learn in wave chapters. So to be honest, playing phone is safer than you getting down to the car, up to the car, down to the car one actually. Yes. So what we're supposed to do, this one here, we're supposed to connect metal chain, and then you make sure they touch the ground. Why we do that? You want to make sure that all the extra electrons, extra charges can flow down to the earth, and then the truck can be discharged easily. Okay? Any questions so far? All right, wait, let me show you this answer. Okay, let me finish the whole thing first. Okay, look. One by one. Number one, just now we say, right, the compartment should be more. Why? Because the mass can be divided, and then the effect of inertia reduced. And then we use ABS, stands for anti-lock braking systems. They allowed the car to, the lorry to stop quickly, and then prevent the lorry from skidding. Okay, bigger gap between. Why? Prevent the tank from colliding to the front part, and also easier to turn. More tires, because why? They increase the surface area and then reduce the pressure exerted on the ground. And finally, we will put a metal chain or belt behind the truck. Why? To allow excessive charges to discharge and flow to the ground. They go down, then your body will discharge. You don't get extra charges. Okay, now, so design question is like this one. What you do, right? It's literally 5 points. You see or not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All together, this will be 10 marks. Understand? The full answers I will post. Okay, here's the thing. Don't worry. The rest of the question you can do yourself on. So let's say you're not from my class, you're not my students, okay? The full answers, right? It will be posted in the PDF Google Drive. Okay, let's just say you got your PDF file notes. It's in the PDF Google Drive. Okay, you can download that. Now, if you are my students, I will post the answer in Google Classroom. Okay, I'll post the answer in Google Classroom. Yes, and also now this video, if you want to watch again, right, there will be replay. Okay, you just need to go to YouTube and then look for this channel, and perhaps you will find some of the video that will benefit you as well. Scroll through, you might find them. Okay, so this recorded video I will post here. Okay, now any questions regarding this? No lah. I create YouTube channel simply because I'm too lazy to repeat my answer like 10 times. So every student asks the same questions, right? I will send them the video and then they can read through that. They can go through the explanations. So I create like shorts video and stuff like that. Every time you ask me the same, because you see, it's the same question over and over again. Everybody asks the same thing one. Then might as well just make one video, and then every time people ask, right, then you got a video to watch. And also, it's good for your revisions. Every time you want to revise anything, there's something there for you to refer to. Okay. All right. Any other questions you want to ask? If not, then I think we can call it a day. And now I hope you score good for your essay, okay? And I will see you when I see you.